I had to put this in the folder because I want you guys to see how ridiculous some of the theatrics that happen along with this Roe v. Wade, because all it is, it's a fundraising scheme. It's a ploy by Democrats to distract and fundraise off of an issue they could have stopped if they cared. Like if they wanted to, they could have codified Roe v. Wade. They could do that right now by getting rid of the filibuster and doing that. Everybody knows the procedure of how that can happen, but they refuse because they can fundraise off of it. And so they're not going to do it. And yet these people are falling right for the same type of bullshit theatrics. And here's Elizabeth Warren, by the way. And before I even put Elizabeth Warren, I want to lay out a couple things, right? I said this a few days ago, so get ready for the next few months of exhaustive focus by the mainstream media, politicians, and hacks, including pseudo-revolutionary groups, PSL, on this orchestrated distraction campaign for funding while our economy tanks, debts increase, food shortages rise, and we continue to fund Nazis in Ukraine. And here it is. Before I go to Liz Warren, this section I thought to include Anna, because Anna is just as theatrical, if not more, than Liz Warren. And she did this whole thing, this whole theatrics. And I want you guys to watch, because TYT is trying so hard to be MSNBC light, and we know this, but like I just wanted you guys to know what they put out, like what, because you guys don't watch TYT, right? And this is the reason why you don't watch it, because these people are complete and total hacks, and they pretty much have become the same type of railing lunatic as you see on Fox or CNN, especially. And I don't know if you saw this pasta, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And
fight for each other, fam.
What?
Let's go fight for each other. Let's go fight for Ukraine. I just could seeing that last week. I can only wait to see what this is all about. No, I have not seen it. So this is going to be the first reaction from Anna Kasparian.
Imagine if we were like TYT. I just want you guys to imagine.
Yeah, we'd be financially set, right? We'd have, at least that's going on.
All right, Oz, you can play the video.
We don't even have paid family leave. We don't even have affordable childcare in this freaking country. Okay, and the people who fight against those kinds of laws are Republicans.
And yet,
what do you want them to do with their kids when they have to go to work? What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do?
God.
I want them to answer that freaking question.
Like
Answer the question. Journalists, ask them the question. Ask them. Ask them.
Isn't it amazing?
Ask them the goddamn question. God.
Isn't it amazing that not one Democrat has shown 1% of the passion that Anna has today?
They don't care.
They
They're
don't
fine.
care.
They're
They don't
fine.
care.
They're all so old, they don't even have to worry about it affecting them. And if they're young enough where it would affect them, they'll get their abortion.
They're going to fly to
They're
Paris.
trading individual stocks, enriching themselves. They're good. They're good. They don't care about you. Make sure you understand that and you feel it in your bones. They don't care about you at all.
Well, I think to be fair,
all of that fundraising, all of that canvassing, all of that hard work on the ground, they can't even get a voting rights bill passed. They're losers.
Trusha Briggs writes in, thank you, Anna, for communicating this momentous injustice and the rage we're all feeling today.
He's doing his best pasta. That was Chang doing his best pasta.
I know.
I think.
He doesn't do as good as me as I do as good as him. And you know what I'm saying? And yeah. Do you want to talk about theatrics phony? Where's my scorecard? I give her a 1. The Russian judge just gave Anna Kasparian a 1 for acting. You're not even on top of your voice, right? Everything's coming from here. Because if it was really emotional, it would come from here. You sounded like a high goddamn Tweety bird. Just listen to that again, ladies and gentlemen.
No, thanks.
It was none of this.
We're good.
Because it was fake. It was phony. Just like TYT. All they're doing right now is trying to do a little song and dance for another check. Because it's running out. The Katzenberg cash is gone. The Odemeyer check is gone. and this is what we have. And I can't wait to hear the fat slobs bullshit. You guys are a bunch of phonies.
So, yeah, I mean, she mentioned Republicans right away because she has to. I mean, that's
Exactly.
in the contract. You have to mention Republicans. And then she, was talking about Democrats also not caring, but they support Democrats. They're going to tell you to vote for Democrats if they haven't already this whole time. So, I mean, it's just theatrics when you tell people, yeah, they're so bad. They don't care about you. They're good. TYT's good. You guys are good, right? It's just so ridiculous. And then they have the audacity to be smearing journalists all the time and talking shit. So I just wanted to play that because it's very theatrical because they know that they're going to tell you in 2 seconds to vote for Democrats. And I think the next video, Oz, you have
slide 9.
is,
Not Biden, Chunk.
it should be, yeah. It
Slide
should
9.
be 9. You skipped a bunch. 9 is a video.
That's
No,
Chunk.
it should be 11. Yeah. I just want to show the tweet because the recount posted this video, right? And the reporter asked if the Senate should do away with the filibuster to codify Roe v. Wade, whatever. And Biden said he wasn't prepared to make those judgments. So let's hear what Sleepy Joe said.
Mr. President, did you away with the filibuster to codify Roe?
I'm not prepared to make those judgments now. But I think the codification of Roe makes a lot of sense. Look, think what Roe says. Roe says what all basic mainstream religions have historically concluded, that the existence of a human life and being is a question. Is it at the moment of conception? Is it 6 months? Is it 6 weeks? Is it quickening like Aquinas argued? I mean, so the idea that we're going to make a judgment that is going to say that no one can make the judgment to choose to abort a child based on a decision by the Supreme Court, I think goes way overboard.
Thank you guys.
Can you translate?
I need another rest, and I'm just gonna say a bunch of malarkey, and then after I have my oatmeal cookies, I'll bullshit more. I'm not ready to do that. I'm not ready to do this. You know what I'm saying? Bullshit.
I don't understand how people I mean, I get that people are propagandized, but there are people that I expect better from that are falling right in line for this thing, that are going to DC to protest for women's bodily autonomy. And I'm just like, all of that went out the window when you guys decided to not respect bodily autonomy for everybody. I mean, it really did. No, who's going to take this seriously anymore? If you don't want the government to control, and that goes for both sides, by the way, because nobody's asking conservatives to go and abort a baby if you don't want to. Nobody's asking you to do that. That's you wanting to impose your belief on somebody else. And it's just as bad as some woman that says, my body, my choice, saying you have to get vaccinated. It's just as bad because at the end, you're not going to agree with people. Nobody's saying you have to agree, but let people decide for themselves. I mean, up to a certain extent, I think, right? I don't think you should be able to go and have a baby and then kill somebody, right? Kill a baby, because that happens too. And that's what I think would happen if you make something like this illegal. And so nobody's asking you to do it or not do it. We can all have our personal opinion as to whether we would or not. But the reality is when you involve the government in something that is deeply personal, that's what happens. And that's so the hypocrisy right now is really annoying on both ends. But especially I think a lot of the people that were, calling everyone an anti-vaxxer and doing all of this. And now suddenly, is all about my body, my choice. And I'm old enough to remember a few weeks ago when that got you banned.
Yeah.
Right. That got you banned. I'm just so sick of this whole circus show is what it is. It's essentially a circus show. And Joe Biden, of course, isn't going to answer that because the answer is they needed to fundraise. They needed to make money.
Yeah, and they needed to create some type of wedge issue too as well to
Yeah.
furthermore separate the people. And I don't know why, fam. There's a lot of times we come on here. I feel like doing my Dylan Radigan. I've been doing this for 5 years now. Okay. And nobody's talking about the real problem at hand. Why aren't we talking about why there are so many unwanted pregnancies? That's what we need to be talking about. How do we fix that? That's how we fix the situation, not the Band-Aid solutions about what happens when a woman becomes pregnant. Okay, how do we stop so many unwanted pregnancies? Why do we have so many unwanted pregnancies? There's actually statistics, studies, ways to talk about this. I just threw out a theory that I heard years ago, and I can't find the results of it right now. I'm looking all over the internet. If anybody finds it, in Iran, after the civil war they had with Iraq, they had to change what's the word I'm looking for? Tactics, right? At the time when they were at the civil war for many years, the government was telling mothers, produce babies for the war. You know what I'm saying? Have children, whatnot, do this, have babies, those sort of things for the war. But when the war ended, after so many years, well, what do we do now? You know what I'm saying? How do we empower women? How do we have less unwanted pregnancies? How do we have less pregnancies? And they found out, okay, if we increase education, if we build a stronger workforce, if we give women more opportunities, that's going to lower the number of unwanted pregnancies. Now, I don't know if this is 100% true, but it makes a lot of sense to me that when we educate and we provide opportunities, that will fall into less, unwanted pregnancies. Like I said, these are the discussions we need to have. How do we stop unwanted pregnancies? And that should make both sides happy. Less babies will be aborted. Less women will have to, fight to get an abortion when they want one. God forbid Roe v. Wade gets taken down. These are the discussions we need to have, and we don't have them anymore. Everything is distraction, divisive. That's your enemy. Let's fight each other. And you said this the other day, fam. This is one of the most divisive friggin' wedge issues there is out there. Wedge issue gets a new meaning for this one, because the wedge goes deep when you start talking about this shit. So why don't we talk about real solutions?
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you 100%. So the next tweet is Oz. I don't know if you have it queued up, but it should be the tweet and then the video of Elizabeth Warren having her theatrics. But so I'm going to read the tweet first. And this is Catholics for choice, fam. Catholics for choice. Thank you, Senator Warren, for coming out and lending your voice at hashtag SCOTUS, People of Faith Unite for Abortion Rights and Reproductive Freedom. We are the pro-choice majority. We are not going back, not ever. Roe v. Wade. So that's their mantra. We are not going back. The thing is, there's just so much. I mean, it's just, yes, you're not going back. But the thing is, I look at this as like, do people really think that the United States wants like a bunch of babies roaming around? Like not just the United States, but like first world nations, right? Do people really think they're going to allow a bunch of like, people who are anti abortion to just say, oh yeah, let everybody have a free for all and just have babies without any sort of contraception, any sort of like the country that like completely has big pharma, has Monsanto. You guys were talking about earlier on the morning show, Bill Gates. You have the merger right now happening between Monsanto, Bayer, and a lot of pharmaceutical companies. That's happening. You have that whole population control mentality. I don't buy that this is a thing. And by the way, as I pointed out, now a lot of people are backtracking. A lot of media, they're saying, well, we don't know for sure that this is, legit. So now they're backtracking. As I mentioned yesterday, there is no evidence that this is actually like something they're going to do, that this is actually a thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's an opinion. Opinion piece.
Can we play the video, Oz?
In the notes, there are number 13.
13. Yeah, that was
down below.
Yeah, so I mean, I just think that's I don't buy that this is a thing. Like, I don't buy. This is just something they use to fearmonger women into thinking we're going to become ruled by a bunch of Christian you know, white supremacists, not even white supremacists, just Christian fundamentalists, right?
Mhm.
And they do this, they fearmonger through these shows like Handmaid's Tale, and that has, you know, the whole premise of Handmaid's Tale, Pasta, I don't know if you know, but it's
I do
you know,
not.
they go back to the puritanical era, and women have no rights, and women are second class citizens, and a lot of liberals love that show, but they love it because they think, they always meme it like, oh, it's Republicans, like they're the ones, the fascism we're looking at. They're completely ignoring the fascism that's literally right in front, right in front of them, with a surveillance state, the Ministry of Truth, with the control of all of our media, all of our social media, the spying on American citizens, the fact that you have no say as an American, your vote doesn't count, we don't have fair elections, you know, you like there, I could go on and on about all the money being pushed into war, none of it coming in here. That whole thing is being ignored purposely by putting this wedge issue in front.
Count on this video how many masks you see people wearing outside.
Okay.
Angling for decades now, and we are gonna fight back. I am angry because of who will pay the price for this. It will not be wealthy women. Wealthy women can get on an airplane. They can fly to another state. They can fly to another country. They can get the protection they need. This will fall on the poorest women in our country. This will fall on the young women who have been abused, who are victims of incest. This will fall on those who have been raped. This will fall on mothers who are already struggling to work 3 jobs to be able to support the children they have. Well, I am here because I am angry, and I am here because the United States Congress can change all of this.
Did you add something to the folder, Pasta? Maybe
Yeah.
you added something and it took it out, because I'm positive I had it in here. I just added a slide.
I have seen the world.
Yeah,
where
I
abortion
added slide
is
14.
illegal. And we are not going back.
That's not the one I wanted. I added the one I wanted.
No. So say it with me.
Elizabeth Warren
We are
one?
not going
Yeah, this
back.
is not it.
We are not going back. Not
14.
ever. Not ever. Not ever. Not ever. Not ever.
There. Okay, so that was one video. We're gonna show you the one that is actually the one I was talking about, because
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. This one
Yeah.
too was pretty messed up. I wanted to show this one too as well, because she took a chance. She took a little shot at like, this is not going to be, about rich people. A rich woman can get on a plane and fly and whatnot, and go get an abortion in a different country, different state. Which, once again, I think a lot
true
of
though.
Yeah, but see, I mean, that's not who's to blame
No,
for this. You know what I'm saying? And
no,
it's still
them.
just divisive when you start saying that shit. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I mean, I don't think that's as divisive as like when you're saying it's just Republicans, when Democrats have all the power right now, right? Like, I think that's divisive. And yeah, I mean, this is a class divide situation here, because the people that are, it's factual, it's historic.
Yeah.
When women used to get pregnant and they were of a high class, they would go away somewhere, get an abortion, and come back. That's what would happen back in the day. That is a fact. That is a fact.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that they automatically say it's the Republicans. Yeah, the Republicans are anti-abortion, but you know very damn well your party, Liz, could have done something about it, and they never did because they can make money, and she's not recognizing that at all.
Oz, with this one, instead of cropping there, can we just put the whole screen up? Why not? Yeah, put that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Senator, how
I am angry.
Angry and upset?
Angry and upset and determined. The United States Congress can keep Roe versus Wade the law of the land. They just need to do it.
I've never seen you so angry. You seem to be...
This is what the Republicans have been working toward this day for decades. They have been out there plotting, carefully cultivating these Supreme Court justices so they could have a majority on the bench who would accomplish something that the majority of Americans do not want. 69% of people across this country, red states and blue states, old people and young people, want Roe versus Wade to maintain as the law of the land. We need to do that. And we have a right. Extremists, we've heard enough from the extremists. And we're tired of it.
I don't know what Senator does to open the door for the constitutional rights.
So again, her party could have done something. Her party keeps actually putting in Democrats that are anti-abortion. This is bullshit. This is just stupid. I don't even want to spend more time on it, but it's like, this is what people are focused on now, right? And they're going to these protests and they're doing these things and they're so upset and they're hailing a leak, Pasta. When was the last time that you've seen liberals talk about leaks in a positive way? Because the last leak I remember from WikiLeaks, they're still saying it was Russian propaganda, just like you showed yesterday with the schmuck.
Well, I mean,
they're still, yeah.
I was just going to say they were happy with the whole leak from the Trump administration with the whole Ukraine situation, in which they, and they really played that one off nicely, right? That was all the, oh my God, people are going to find out what we're doing in the Ukraine. Let's go and impeach the president to try to distract from him. You know what I'm saying? It was so fucking stupid. But that was, aside from that, yeah, I mean, here we go.
They're only happy with leaks that come from mainstream media or one of their assets, right? Remember the Frances, whatever her name was, Frances, whatever, like the Facebook leaker, like that woman. Yeah, like that, anytime you have like corporate news or some sort of, intelligence asset leaking things, it's not a leak, it's a PR stunt, guys. It's not. Anyway.
So Bree kind of went after Obama because Obama made a statement with Michelle on the draft of the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. versus Wade. The most entertaining part of this whole leak, the Obama statement that he made, was on the bottom of the first page. It says the consequences of this decision would be a blow, not just to women, but to all of us who believe that in a free society, there are limits to how much the government can encroach on our personal lives. And I'm choking. I'm laughing so much. And this decision is unlikely to significantly reduce abortions, which have been steadily going down over the past several decades, thanks to large in part better access to contraception and education. Okay, so they kind of mentioned that about contraception and education. First off, the first part of them saying, in that paragraph over there, that this is an encroachment on a free society, that the government shouldn't overreach. I mean, are these people so friggin' hypocritical? And it is like both sides, like you said, fam, on this situation. It's really ridiculous. You just were pushing mandates and this whole freaking boop boop thing. And now you want to sit there and say, this is an encroachment on a free society? I mean, there is no limits to how much these people will lie, fam, and how phony they will be. Bree said, nothing about why he didn't codify Roe when he had a supermajority in his first term? Nothing at all. And fam, you've mentioned this before. They've had ways to codify this if they wanted to. They have a way to kind of codify it right now by eliminating the filibuster, but they're not going to. So, I mean, it is all theatrics. It's all phony. They want to raise money off this. They want to divide people. They want to create another wedge issue. It's just a bunch of BS. And it's so coincidental that this came and leaked the same night or the same day within the same 24 hours that our good friend Nancy Pelosi was going back to Congress to sign a $33 billion more to the Ukrainians to pay their whole freaking government right now. Like, we have to pay for their government, the government that they supported in 2014, same type of BS. That's what we're doing. And yet everybody else gets Nothing. So nobody's talking about this in the mainstream media right now. They're talking about this stupid distraction that they put out for us.
Yeah. This is taking up, so much crap. That's why we're going to have our guests on to talk about the important things, how to spot false flags, what's going on in Russia, Ukraine. Our guest has written countless articles on false flags, because you have to understand what a false flag is. It doesn't mean that, there's fake bodies, or that, the situation doesn't really happen. It means that it is manipulated, and how these things are manipulated. This isn't a false flag necessarily, but it is a manipulation. It is a purposefully leaked that they wanted people to see and get up in arms about, period. Because it attracts attention. It does great for fundraising. It distracts the public. It is a PR stunt. I studied PR, which is narrative management. PR is just, all it is narrative management, right? Mm-hmm. And what you do is, if you have a brand or a person that is in trouble and is being viewed negatively by the public, because public perception is everything, and this is how they view things, right? And they're like, well, you have to create an event or a situation where that person can now look better, or you can change the public perception via certain things you do. It's basically marketing, but for people and an image rather than, a product. And so they do this, and it's so easy to spot, because once you know, it's kind of like the regime change playbook. Once you know the playbook for manipulations and false flags, you can spot them anywhere. And this is one of them. Every single media, gigantic media, corporate media, decided to come out and say the same thing. Every single congressperson that's on the progressive end, the liberal left, decided to come up with the same type of verbiage, the same type of outrage. And it was extremely timely, like clockwork. And that's how you know it's not real. They're trying to get a rise out of people.
There's two things they're not talking about right now, right? They're not talking about the $33 billion they just handed off, and they're not talking about the whole Pfizer dumps that, the Pfizer information, what's going on there. Like, nobody's covering those two things. They're just going to distract you with so much stuff. And it's up to independent media right now to really take the ball and run with it, to call out the BS. That's why I'm excited about this new guest over here, because the false flags, they're just getting so far out of hand right now. And to be honest with you, fam, they've been failing on them. That's why they had to cancel, RT and take them off the air and whatnot, because they were losing the propaganda game. And that's what we're witnessing to this day.